Us, don't you? You can smell it.
Tasmanian devil is keen to be
Yeah,
fed.
please don't sit her on there, just because they have a bite force equivalent to a tiger. So anything that goes in there is not going to come out unmarked. Be amazed the number of phones and cameras that have been dropped in there. Tell Sonny come up here.
No, you can't have a phone. Yeah. No, don't put your fish in there either.
Crazy.
Okay, I think we'll get going. Access to this part of the enclosure and the one that goes, there's a tunnel that goes underneath the walkway here into the one behind us. Then in the other three parts we have three other devils who all share that particular area. Now the reason Tale's on his own, he doesn't mind because devils tend to be fairly solitary in the wild anyway in Tasmania. Mostly the time they come together would either be to mate or feeding as a social occasion. There you go. Now, a lot of that is bone, but that's all right. Plenty of meat on there, and we've given him the skin and the fur as well, because all those things help with digestion and it contains vitamins and minerals and things that are good for them. So he'll take that off probably inconveniently for us, but he's probably taken that off to somewhere shady. Somewhere, come back to it later, but eventually there'll be pretty much nothing left of it by the time he's finished. So by the time we go in tomorrow, he will have eaten most of that, if not all of it. Tale is on his own because he's a bit of a superstar in the Tasmanian devil world. He's the only devil on the planet with an artificial hip. So we decided that to protect our investment. You'll notice how particularly around his hindquarters, his coat is nice and smooth. All right. If you see any of the other boys, if they come out, you will see around their hindquarters not so smooth. Because one of the ways devils interact with each other is to take little bites of each other's backsides. It does bleed a bit, and it looks worse than it actually is. Nature's given them an extra layer of fat around there to help with that, and they're very fast healing. So sometimes they'll have wounds that look like, oh, that looks pretty nasty, but it'll have healed up and be drying out quite nicely within 48 hours. So he's going to chomp away on that. You'll notice it's got a bit of the offal in it as well. That's also good for them. We just make sure if we're feeding out things like that, we remove the intestines because they don't eat those, and leaving the intestines in there with bacteria to gather on it is not a good idea. So our devils will eat a variety of things. Chicken's a favourite, but they also eat wallaby, possum, rabbit, horse meat. They're not too fussy at all. In Australia, these guys are basically the clean-up crew, so similar role to hyenas in Africa. Their role is to clean up all the leftovers, bits and pieces, carcasses and things like that you don't want sitting, rotting away and creating disease hazards. So I mentioned to someone before, they've got a really strong. Then we've got John, Chester Campbell and Orana in the front part. Orana's also a 5-year-old and the other two are 4-year-olds. We just have males, we don't have a breeding recommendation from the Australian government, and that's fair enough. They guard that quite jealously, which is quite rightly they're entitled to. Like as New Zealanders, we would guard our kiwi going overseas or breeding overseas jealously as well. If they decided they would give us a breeding recommendation, we are very well set up. We've got all these 5 different enclosures. We've got dens through there, we can use it as bedding dens. So if the time came and they asked us to, that wouldn't be a problem. Devils are facing a couple of problems in the wild, unfortunately, that has taken quite a large... what the Australian government has done, trying to develop a vaccine and get it out to animals in the wild is pretty... Otherwise, our next public talk is way over on the far side at Lions along the Burgle Island wooden platform at 2:30. So you've got plenty of time. You can go around past this way if you like. You haven't seen Reggie, our tiger. He's in the enclosure up here, and there is a pathway on the far side of his enclosure that will take you through to Lions, or you can walk around this side of Devils as well.